You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here is your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
Good morning, everybody. I am Glenn the Geek in Ocala, Florida.
And I am Jamie Jennings, and I'm also in Ocala, Florida.
What?
Yeah, you're listening to Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for Wednesday, January 3rd, episode 3335. Happy New Year.
It's Wednesday morning. That means Jamie and Glenn are back to talk horses with all of you. Well, let's be honest. Jamie talks horses. Glenn is just here to hassle Jamie. Enjoy the show.
Well, Happy New Year, everybody. We have a fun show planned for you today with a very special surprise for me, anyway.
Surprise! I'm at your door. Open up.
We have Animal Communicator Leslie is back on. She's been a regular on the show. She's going to help Auditor Libby communicate with her departed horse, Suntan, which is the first time that has happened on the show. Plus, Dr. Kristi is back, and she's going to talk to us about all things to look for in foaling season. It is that time again. And in the post-show, Jamie and I are just going to get caught up on what happened over the break. But in the meantime, Jamie is here in my studio in Ocala.
It's crazy. I am visiting my mom up in the Palatka area, and I just called Glenn. I'm like, I don't have any way to do the show, so I'm going to come to your house and do the show.
And I was in shock. I don't think I reacted because I was like, what? Are you really?
Yeah, you weren't excited, so I took that as
not that I wasn't
personal.
excited. I was kind of shocked.
Yeah, so here I am in Ocala, and I mean, we have a day. You have some activities planned for me that I didn't know I was going to do.
Let's let everybody know. This is the first time in maybe 13 years since we lived in Lexington that you've done the show in my studio.
I didn't do the show in your studio in Lexington. This is the first
time ever?
Ever.
Wow. It's the first time you've been to Ocala ever.
I've been here, but not recently to see you.
Yeah, but I mean, even not recently since World Equestrian Center.
Yeah, but when I used to live in Atlanta, I'd come down here. I looked at horses down here. There's always a horse to come, horse shop for in Ocala. But yeah, I mean, it is definitely different.
Yeah.
When I came, I was driving here. I'm like, God, I should have bought property. If only I knew.
Oh, if only you knew. Your $250,000 farm would be worth $1.5 million now.
Yep.
We're so happy to have you here. It's so fun to sit across from you and do the show. It's probably been since I was at your place last that we did the show together.
I think so.
You were something else we thought of that had never occurred to me till you called the other night was you've never met Scooter and Nigel.
No, because the only times I've been to your place, you didn't have them.
Yeah, that was before
So
that.
I've never met the horses. So we're going to go out and see the ponies. And you also want me to stop by the World Equestrian Center.
It's a requirement when you come to Ocala now. You have to go there. We'll have lunch there, and you'll get to see the most impressive equestrian center in the world.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. When I was driving in this morning, it was about an hour and a half drive for me to get here. But what I saw was you forget that the thoroughbred industry down here is just booming.
And there's a lot of little farms, too. Sport horses and thoroughbreds, but there's probably even more sport horses here now than thoroughbreds.
Well, I saw some big thoroughbred farms on the way in. I mean,
you did, the way you came in.
Oh, my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah. It's different than Lexington on the outskirts. All Lexington has on the outskirts is the big thoroughbred farms. Here we have the thoroughbred farms and 1 million sport horse farms.
Well, and that's what I thought, too, when I was coming in. I was like, in Lexington, it's all foaling, as we're going to talk to our guest today about. It was all foaling, and this was like, here's a track, here's a training center, here's a farm for racing. It was just a whole lot of it's like they're born in Kentucky, and then they come here to work. They
come here for their first years.
Yeah.
Like, they do that because it's warmer, or is that the reason?
I don't know. Don't look at me.
We need to ask somebody that. We need to find out, why do you come to Ocala? I don't know the reason for that either. Well, we're glad to have you.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for you to be here, and I'm excited to hang out with you all day. That'll be fun, too. Unexpected surprise for the first day of the year back, and we are happy to be back talking to all of you. And you know how we start the show? We're going to do it this way. We have a bunch of auditor birthdays to catch up on, and Elizabeth Francis, I did not forget you. She thought I would because her birthday was a couple days ago, and I said, no, I'm going to look back. I'm going to make sure we get everybody. Ina Adams also, Zoe B., Megan Aline, Nancy Reppert, Katya Korsch, Renee Kissel, and the host of the Horse Husbands episode every month, Rich Muller, sorry.
You almost got them
I almost got them all right. I was thinking, somebody mentioned Lancaster County today, and Millers that's the most common name in Lancaster County, so I read it, went Miller. New auditors, we also have some new auditors we're happy to welcome to the fold. That's Claire Runolfson. And Claire said her husband bought her this for Christmas.
Oh, smart man.
There's the best birthday or Christmas gift ever. Stephanie Perry also joined us, so thank you and welcome. Upping pledges was Jennifer Morlane and Elizabeth Harris. Thank you to both of you for upping your pledge as well.
Couple daily Whinnies. Obviously, my mom is fighting the battle, and she's doing great, and it's good to spend some time with her. But the other daily Whinnie that I have is going to go, okay, stick with me here, Glenn.
Okay.
the job that the job that I would like to have at this point in my life would to go to Switzerland and become a gardener.
Really?
Yeah. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because bless his heart. I say bless his heart. He's fine. There's a gentleman. His name is Nicholas Puelch, and he is beginning the legal processes of adopting his former gardener, which means the position's open. Now, why is this important that I would like to become his new gardener in Switzerland? Well, because he is a descendant of the Hermès luxury brand. Are you familiar with Hermès?
Yeah.
Hermes.
Oh, Hermes. Yeah,
okay, there you
that's
go.
how I say it. Yep.
So this luxury brand has been around. It was founded in 1837. I mean, apparently, since the pandemic happened, luxury items are through the roof. Why? That doesn't make any sense, but whatever. It's cool. Like, luxury items through the roof. Well, this man, Nicholas, he's 80 years old, and he decided that he would like to adopt his gardener, who's 51 years old, and leave him all his money. Yes.
He has no kids, or
he
does
has
have kids?
no children. He's apparently a very secretive fifth generation descendant. Fifth generation. And he's leaving half of his fortune. He owns 5% of Hermès. And do you know what half of his fortune is worth? 10.3 billion pounds.
So being a gardener paid off in that case, huh?
Well, I mean, what are you doing to this guy to get him to? And the gardener has like a family and kids. But it also struck me as like how incredible the generational wealth is in the Hermès like line. I mean, you go to the mall, you see the store, you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, can't afford any of that.
Nope,
Walk on
don't
by.
even go in. Yeah, amazing. And so he has that much money that half of his 5% stake that he wants to give to his gardener, who he's trying to adopt, is 10.3 billion pounds. That's insane.
You're right. There's probably an opening. This guy will die eventually, and he'll have to give it to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, his children, like he's got a whole family. Apparently, Nicholas Puelch had started a nonprofit to send all his money to. He's like, yeah, you guys are screwed. Forget you. I'm giving it to the gardener. And there's an opening for the job. So, like, I don't think you can lose.
We'll see what the lawsuits say on that one.
Oh, my gosh. People, they must be freaking out. They must be freaking out.
So we had a very, very relaxing holiday. We went on a cruise with Celebrity. It's the first time doing Celebrity cruises. And you want to know what we did on our 5-night cruise?
I hope it ends up being nothing and nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. It was eat, sleep, read, eat, sleep, read, eat, sleep, read. That's what we did on the entire cruise. We really just zoned out.
What did you read?
We zoned out. We read books. I don't know.
I know you read books.
I know.
What
I listened
books?
to most. She read books.
Okay.
I mostly listened to podcasts.
That was my thing. Like, I don't see you cracking open
No, she listens to books. Jennifer listens to books. And I just pretty much zoned out. And you know what's really amazing about cruise ships now? internet has always sucked. As a matter of fact, it was hard when we do the horse lovers cruises for me to like work because I was still kind of on the clock.
Well, maybe because you're on a boat in the middle of
Not
nowhere.
anymore. Lay off Starlink. We were streaming TV shows and movies the whole time. It didn't matter. Starlink is amazing.
You could have stayed home.
It was so nice to sit on the balcony or just hang out.
Yeah.
We had 2 stops. We were in Key West on Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
So it was rainy and kind of overcast and 50 degrees. It was kind of a miserable day, but we walked down to the southernmost point, which is that big,
the big
yellow monument thing.
Lighthouse looking thing.
Yeah. And people go there. There's lines of people to take pictures with it all day, every day. Well, it was windy as heck that day, and the ocean's right there beside it. And it was coming up, and it was hitting the wall and soaking everybody that went up to get their picture taken.
That's a great picture.
Oh, we stood there for 20 minutes and just watched people scream and get wet. It was the best part of the trip. It was so funny to watch these people get soaked or try and run up to get their picture taken before they got wet.
Yeah.
It was the best part of the trip, literally. So we had fun there, and then we just hung out. We did basically nothing. It was I needed it. I was pretty just beat. I was tired.
Yeah. And then you wake up to me on your doorstep this morning. So
which is just an added bonus.
Oh, liar. Like, it brings you right back down. Right back into
added
the stress.
bonus. I'm glad to have you here. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about our break. I haven't talked to you about yours at all. I don't know what you did at all over Christmas break. So we'll talk about that mostly in the post show when we get to that today.
I have a strange annountment to make.
In the post show?
Do you know? No,
right now.
Do you know how many horses are at my house right now? There's usually 12, right? So there's a slew of my own horses and a slew of training horses. Well, now that it's January and February comes next, and February sucks, and this for months, everything has been really brutal for me, and I just needed a break. There are currently 4 horses at my house.
Where the hell are all the other horses?
Well, Horse and Hound, I just finished training the last
Here
one.
they come.
I sent it back. It's ready for adoption. And I said, don't send me anything right now. I need a break. And so all the training horses that I have, I just decided to take. I usually take February off because the weather sucks. And
you can't do it.
Shocker, I still don't have an indoor.
It's really hard to train horses on ice.
Yeah, it is. It is. And so, but now that this happened and I was coming down here to see my mom, I just said, okay, everybody, I'm taking a break. So my next horse doesn't come till March 1st. And
4 horses?
There are my 2 gray horses and my 2 buckskin horses. We got Ace, the 4-year-old thoroughbred, Miles, the 4-year-old Andalusian, Duke, my awesome senior buckskin, and then his Duke 2, Maverick. He is the other one.
This has to be the least since you've gotten married.
My husband sent me a message. He's like, what is happening here? I don't understand. He's like, there's no stress except for the puppy in the house, which we probably should report on that as well. But yeah, it's crazy. And I haven't had a break, and
I thought you were going to say 20. I thought you were going to go the other way.
Yeah, it's just been a hell of a
I think you're going to enjoy
month.
this little respite, actually.
Yeah, well, I'm planning.
We were both pretty fried there.
Yeah, well, yours is work. Mine is personal.
Well, and work. You were working.
And work, yeah. But with my family stuff going on and my horse trauma that I've had, it's nice to have a little bit of a break from all of that. And Farm Boy's gone for a month. So
there's a real reason.
I can't do all this by myself.
The truth comes out.
What? So he's going to Singapore. Like, I think he leaves today to go on some sort of
that boy,
conference.
that 6'2" cowboy with a hat that makes him look 7 foot is going to really stand out.
Oh my! I was like, do you understand what you're getting yourself into? They've been like taking cultural lessons because in Singapore, you throw your gum on the ground.
Yeah, you're out.
You're out.
Yeah, for 5 years in jail.
Yep. So
or they cut your hand off.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about the cultural shock that he's going to be.
Is he allowed to wear a cowboy hat in Singapore?
I don't think he'll take it. He doesn't wear it on campus. He says it causes too much of
there you
distraction in Oklahoma. So yeah, I don't think he's taking it across the ocean.
He's still going to stand out about a foot above everybody else.
I know. It's awesome.
Well, that's good for him, though. That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Well, let's go to our first guest. We are heading to Leslie from ISpeakToAnimals.com. She has come on and done readings for Jamie and I and some of our listeners. We're going to try and get her back on a more regular basis this year. And we usually ask auditors for this. So if you want to become an auditor, just go to horsesinthemorning.com. Click on the auditor banner to join that as far as as little as $3 a month. Let's give them a call. We have Auditor Libby and Leslie from ISpeakToAnimals.com. Leslie, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too. And from what I hear from our booker, Ashley, you're going to be with us more often. I'm glad to hear that. That's going to be fun.
Oh, so yes. Thank you for having me.
Well, we have one of our terrific auditors on. Her name is Libby. Libby, how are you?
Hello, Glenn. I'm well. Thank you.
Where are you from? What state are you in?
I live in Houston, Texas.
And so you're in Texas, and how long have you been listening to the show?
About a year and a half.
Okay, so you've heard Leslie on here before.
I have.
Okay, so you know how this goes. All right, Leslie, take it away.
Libby, thank you. I have a photo of your horse, Suntan. And
Yes.
From what I understand, Suntan is in spirit. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And how old was Suntan when they crossed?
20, about 20, I want to say close to 20 years.
Yeah? And
Gosh.
how old was Suntan when you got him?
A weanling.
Oh, okay. Wow. So, what I like to do, Libby, is I like to just take a second and ask Suntan to tell me about themselves. And that just sort of gets the conversation flowing, but I will tell you whatever Suntan says, and then we can ask questions. Okay?
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay. Do you have some specific questions that you have in mind? If not, start thinking about them now.
Okay, I'll be thinking.
Okay. So, very, very smart, very, very smart horse. And really seems to, pick up on things pretty quickly. Now, Suntan says surprise, which usually means when you got Suntan that you either weren't thinking about getting a horse, or you were maybe looking at a different horse, or it just didn't go like you thought it was going to go. So was it planned?
Not exactly. A friend of mine said, I don't know who else I can give her to.
Yeah.
And no, it wasn't planned. I wasn't ready.
Yeah. So Suntan actually has a good sense of humor. So did you find that she was, lighthearted and a little bit of a goof?
To me, she seemed serious, and maybe that's because it took me a little while to get to know her true nature. But yeah, she was playful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think she had, some trauma, which didn't make it always come out, but she did definitely have a lighthearted side for sure. I can see that. So do you have some questions for her?
I wasn't with her at the end. I had her in a free lease situation. And I just, I'd like to know, she had an injury and then degraded after that. I just want to know kind of how that was for her.
She says that, just in general, animals always tell me that they view death much differently than we do. They don't usually fear it like we do, or aren't really scared about it. We put far more fear from the unknown into it that they do. And she says that at first, when she got injured, she thought everything was going to be okay and she was going to recover. But she quickly realized that, that wasn't the case. And so she said that she, kind of accepted that she wasn't going to be here much longer. And sort of just really kind of prepared and accepted and wasn't really worried or scared. She said that she had, been here long enough and that it was okay to go.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Another thing that came to mind was I rode all my life. I competed, hunter jumper, Suntan was the first horse that I ever experienced from a weanling. And I feel compelled to apologize to her for all the training she had to go through to educate me.
Actually, she's shaking her head and laughing. And she said, well, what is life about but learning? So, actually, she's so smart that she liked learning new things. And so, no, she doesn't feel that way at all. She feels like it was a journey for both of you, and that it was something that kind of bonded you together. So she said, why are you apologizing for spending a bunch of time with me and doing fun stuff? So she doesn't feel that way at all. No.
Yeah. Well, she was a very special horse to me.
Very beautiful horse. Just so smart. And, she's actually, grateful for the life that she had. She said that, that she had all of the things that she needed. And she said she did a lot of things. And, I guess with you guys together, maybe she's talking about training. So she feels like, she had a pretty good existence.
Right.
I know that Scooter would have a completely different answer to that. He'd be like, "Yeah, you were a miserable jerk."
You didn't cut up my carrots, Glenn.
He would have a completely different answer for that one. We have time for one more question if you have one, Libby.
Oh gosh, yes. Are there any? I don't know if this is something that you can get from her, but are there any moments that kind of come to her mind, or that any experiences that were kind of new and different and fun, or that's it.
Yeah. So she said that you're gonna laugh. She said one of the things that she found kind of the most enjoyable or the most fun wasn't all the training and things like that, but it was when you would be out and she would be following you around. And, you would just be walking around all over together. She loved that. She said that you would, kind of talk to her. And that was her absolute favorite thing. So, it's so funny that, we would probably pick, the time I went to, Paris. And they're like, yeah, the time that we walked around and talked, that was the first part. So she said that's her like fondest, sort of kind of like your hand on your heart, remember and go, sort of memory.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So she's very grateful. She thinks she had a very good life, and she doesn't want you to worry about a thing. She's fine.
Thank you.
Thanks, Libby.
All right.
Well, thank you both for doing this today. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Libby, and thank you for being
That was beautiful. That was awesome. Wow, I'm just so touched. I'm sure, Libby, that was a lot of what you needed to hear.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Yeah.
Leslie,
Mainly because I wasn't with her in the end. And, this helps with closure.
guilt is a very powerful emotion.
It is.
Especially when it's not an emotion that you need to feel. So, good.
So you can let that one go.
Let it go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Suntan doesn't want you bothered with that anymore.
And that's a great name.
Yes, I know. I love the
It's the
name.
best
I don't
name.
think we've ever heard the name Suntan for a horse. Well, thank you, Libby. We really appreciate it. And Leslie, where can people find you? Where can they go?
Yeah, my website at ispeaktoanimals.com.
And you talk to people can hire you, and they can have this conversation with you in private. They don't have to do it on the air, right?
That's right. And I can talk to animals that have crossed over or that live with you today. So we can talk about behavioral issues or aches or pains, or we can do like we did with Libby, where maybe there's some unanswered questions or something that you want to say to them.
Very good. Well, thank you both. We appreciate it. Well, I don't think I'd have the guts that Libby did, because I don't think I want to know what my horses think of me after they're gone.
I don't
think
know.
it takes guts.
That was beautiful because, she wasn't there. COVID hit, the pandemic, all the reasons that she wasn't there. And so I would imagine you sit with that. I mean, horse stuff is the reason, and animal stuff and human stuff, these feelings and emotions that we have, those are the things that make me not sleep. Like at 3:00 in the morning, I wake up. Did I do the right thing for Pharaoh? Did I do this? And so to have that guilt that you are putting on yourself relieved is such a beautiful thing. And the closure that you get from that. And no, that was fantastic.
Well, what else is fantastic is right now over at statelinetac.com, you're going to find that they are highlighting their cold weather supplies. And I don't know about Oklahoma, whether you've been getting any snow or ice yet.
Let me interrupt with that. We were walking around your backyard and I got to see the Jesus shrine back there. And your wife is like, we need to go in. I am freezing. Like, it's 68 degrees. What is wrong with you?
Chilly out there today.
God. So, yeah, maybe the cold weather gear for those of us who live in, like, a normal climate. Yes, statelinetech.com.
And they have a whole bunch of buckets. Do you use the icers in the buckets outside?
I'm a little more bougie than that, Glenn. I have heated Nelson waters.
Oh, there you go. You can find those here, too. Insulated buckets, all kinds of heaters, coils, all that stuff.
That's because I wouldn't move to Oklahoma without them.
They didn't have all this fancy stuff when we had our farm in Pennsylvania.
No,
it was the heater you
pioneers.
stuck in the water bucket. Yep. That's
Yep.
all you had. And you hoped you didn't burn the barn down with the thing.
I've done that as well, my friend. So I haven't always been bougie, and my husband hasn't always made me move to Oklahoma. But yeah, I had all those. So I do have one out in the outside water trough, and it's one of the floating ones that, if you drink it down, it has to go in a metal type trough. And then there's the ones that you can go in rubber trough. Yeah, there's a whole lot of science between trying not to burn your house down.
In the wintertime, of all times.
Yeah.
So head on over to statelinetech.com. Now, coming up next, this Horse Health Report is brought to you by Daily Dose Equine, non-GMO core nutrition for horses and ponies of all ages. And we have Dr. Kristi Gran joining us. She's been on before. We're talking about babies.
Well, you know what happens when you have good intentions? You get an emergency call. So Dr. Kristi is unable to join us as she is on an emergency. She was going to talk to us about foaling, but it sounds like somebody's foaling.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Funny how that works, yeah. So we will get her back on to continue to talk to her. If you do want to check it out and ask her any questions, it's ckequinehospital.com. But I will update you on probably the best part of my December, which was we got a puppy.
Yeah.
And I loved this puppy, and it's the cutest puppy. And
Winx.
Winx, named after the famous Australian racehorse Winx. We have a thing of naming female dogs after powerhouse mares. So, didn't quite know what she was. For if you haven't heard, we got this puppy. She was kind of
Was she a rescue?
She was a crack house dog.
Oh, yeah.
So, like I said, in a moment of clarity, somebody surrendered the puppies from this house. And actually, the lady I got her from at the rescue went to their house. And I was like, listen, find out what the parents are. Because apparently the mom and the dad are there. Probably going to be siblings in the future. But find out what the parents are. So she said, okay. It was just she got to the door. And because she went to pick up the rest of the litter. They surrendered half the litter and then surrendered the other half. So she goes to the door. They chucked the puppies at her and closed the door. And so I was like, what were the parents? And she's like, I was too scared to find out.
I don't want to get shot.
So, yeah, it was a house in Norman that wasn't making good decisions. So, unfortunately, or fortunately, the puppies got out of there. So she took them back to her house, and it appeared like it was a border collie, which I've had several half border collies in my life, and they've been just the most wonderful dogs. So when Chad and I decided to start looking for another dog, he's like, I want a border collie. And I was like, listen, I think a half is all you need. Because a full border collie takes a lot more training than you're going to put in. And I'm the one who has to do all the work. So let's get a half. Well, he was like, oh, yeah, we'll talk about it. That night the puppy was posted in our Nextdoor group, because I know that because I go on Nextdoor to try to find content for the show. So I see this puppy. I show it to Chad. He's like, oh, okay. So I was just going to go look at it. I get there. I'm like, I don't care what it is. I have to take it home. It needs me. So it was so young when we got it. I don't think it was quite, 6 weeks old, that we couldn't put it in a crate all night. I'm not walking across the house, Glenn, and picking a puppy up 3 times and taking it out. I'm just not going to do that. So the dog sleeps in my bed. I can't believe my husband. Homer sleeps on the floor. The basset hound.
There were rules about the dogs in the bed.
We had rules, but then I said, "You're gone so
You've
much.
worn him down.
I feel like
He's just old and tired.
I need Homer in the room with me. I need protection. He'll lick somebody to pieces if they come in. So, and now I feel like I can't go across the room 3 times a night. So now the puppy sleeps in the bed, and then Homer's on the floor, and so I win. But I still didn't know what the dog was, so I got
Homer
one of
couldn't get into bed if he tried.
Oh, bless him. He wants to so bad. He's just like, why can't I get up there? I'm like, because you're 60 pounds and you're 7 inches
and your legs
tall.
are 3 inches long.
He is so huge and so short.
I mean, you get a hernia, lift him into the bed.
Oh my gosh. You see him trying to get in every once in a while he's like, I'm going to get in the car. And I'm like, okay, let's just let this play out.
Yeah.
So Homer is a big old basset hound. But yeah, so I sent the dog DNA kit away, and there's a variety to choose from.
Kind of what you thought it would be, though.
Well, this is so cool. They actually sent me relatives that have also had the DNA. It's like 23andMe for dogs. It's really extensive. But
which one did you use? People are going to ask.
I used Wisdom Panel. Wisdom Panel. And somebody after I got it was like, that's not the best one. It worked for me. Like, it was great. I'm happy with the results. So the results are in.
This isn't a commercial. We didn't get paid by them.
No,
you paid to have this done.
We should hit them up, though, because I got other ones I need to test. So it turns out she is, and this was so exciting to me, 71% border collie.
You knew it was a collie of some.
Well, she's short hair and she's tiny. Like, I mean, granted, she was really young, but she's still small.
Were you surprised at border collie?
No, I was hoping she was 50% at least.
Yeah, because you have this thing for border collies, too.
Yeah,
Basset hounds and border collies.
Border collies, basset hounds. One makes me get up and one makes me sit down. So they're great. So 71% border collie, and rounding out, they give you like kind of categories of, so this is the herding breeds, 3% Australian Shepherd. 71% border, 3% Aussie. Then the guard dog category, she is 5% bulldog, 5% pit bull, and 4%
She did come from a crack house.
I know. I mean, there's some standard generic breeds that we're going to see in a crack house puppy. The sporting.
How does it get to be 5%? How many generations back is that?
I don't know, because I mean, for such a big number to be 71%, the rest are all fairly small numbers. Like she's 6% Labrador, and the sporting dog
It'd be
category.
good to have them on to explain to us. Okay, it's 5%. Does that mean 5-10 generations ago there was
Ashley,
one?
we need to break this down.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how that works.
Mm-hmm. In the hound department, 2% Redbone Coonhound, and 2% Catahoula,
Those are unique.
and 2% Chihuahua. You have to have Pitbull and Chihuahua in it if it's a crack house dog, so they must have just known where she came from.
Does it bark a lot?
There. No, she doesn't bark. Not yet. I mean, she's still fairly small.
Yeah, pretty young.
Yeah, she's great. She sleeps on my neck, like a scarf, and I love it. It makes me very happy.
How long is Chad going to put up with this, by the way?
He's already like, hey, when is she gonna? I'm like, I don't know. I'm still taking her out every night. At least once, maybe. Yeah, so it was pretty awesome.
I predict a year old, that puppy's out of the bed.
You think I'll make it a year? That'd be awesome. But then she's going to be so accustomed
She's tiny,
to it.
though.
We can't kick her
If
out,
she was
Glenn.
if she was bigger, it would be quicker.
She
But
was raised this way. She comes to expect it.
has she come down off the drugs yet? The
She
crack?
wasn't on drugs.
Oh, okay.
But we have had to go back to the vet a few times because here's a surprise. She had some pretty severe worms.
Oh, yeah. No, not eating chicken McNuggets at the crack house.
Hookworms are not fun. I'll just tell you that. She's been on a couple different prescriptions to try to take care of it. But you know what? Like she brings me a lot of joy. So
Do you know when the vets get together in Oklahoma City for their annual convention, they all talk about their favorite clients and the ones who spent the most money? You're at the top 10 of that list.
I'm probably not a favorite, but they do appreciate my business.
They appreciate you paying their bills.
Actually, one of our auditors' husband is Winx's vet, Dr.
Oh,
Otto.
really?
Yeah, Patty Otto.
Oh, we met her.
Yeah. Her husband is the small animal vet, University Animal Hospital. What
was his first name again?
John.
John. Hi, John.
He was on Horsemanship Radio because he has done some really amazing stuff with prisoners and dogs, and it's just an amazing dude. So if you haven't heard that one, go listen to it. But anyway, we should have him on again just to talk about my bill. Yeah.
That hasn't
great.
helped us getting, we've been able to trade for some things over the years, usually stuff, right? That we've traded in exchange for having people on, or
you
for
do that? That's
commercials.
illegal in the real radio world.
We always announce it, though. I mean, we
okay.
always announce that this is a sponsor, but we've never gotten that done with vets.
No. Nobody cares.
Funny how that works. All right. Well, that's terrific. I'm happy to hear that you were happy with the results.
And it was really cool, too. Like, they show you other accounts of dogs that have been also DNA tested, and one was a dog in Houston, and I'm able to I emailed the owner, and we chatted back and forth.
Oh, really?
She also has a distant relative in England.
Huh.
So it's just really cool that all these people have DNA tested and they're related. So it was really fun. So that's Wisdom Panel. Again, not a paid advertisement. I Amazoned it just like any normal person would.
Hanging out here with the mad scientist who developed daily dose equine horse feed formulas, Janet Geyer. And you might wonder, whenever I get my horse feed delivered to my door in Maryland or Texas or California or Missouri, am I getting the same horse feed? And the answer is?
The answer is that it is always the same formula, always the same horse feed. We don't change ingredients. We are a fixed formula feed mill.
Time to learn why some days you're embarrassed to be part of the human race. In Jamie's Weird News.
Yes, today might be one of those days where we're in Florida and we're like, why are we in Florida? Because exciting things happen here. But yes, this is this segment that we read stories that you guys send me. If you are looking through the news, wherever you get it, you see a story and you're like, that's really weird, email it to me, Jamie@horseradionetwork.com with weird news in the subject line. Now, those inappropriate stories that you guys love to send me, I can't read them on the air, but I would like you to know that I really enjoy reading them personally. So don't feel like you have to edit. It's just send them all. But don't feel bad when I don't read them on the show. But this one, we're going to start with one, and it's just kind of like a high end. We talked about Hermé. We're gonna go into some high end skincare products here in a second. But I would like to thank these people for submitting these stories. We've got Allison, Allie, Delia, Claire, Ina, Amanda, Rebecca, Rosemary, and Lorene. So thank you guys all for sending me your stories. Now there is a company called Sol de Janeiro. And they have a body butter, Glenn. It's called Delicia Drench Body Butter.
I know I hate the name body butter so bad.
It's because
it's like the word moist. That one gets me.
Well, this body butter, say it 5 times fast. Hey, Alexa, body butter. I don't know why. But this one has hyaluronic acid, copaiba resin, passion flower seed oil, prebiotic hibiscus. It's apparently taking over the body butter world, Glenn, helping parched, lackluster skin. It's also scented with velvet plum, vanilla orchid, and sandalwood, which creates a mind-boosting experience. It's $48 in these tiny little purple jars. $48, and everybody should get it. However, seems to be a bit of a problem with this particular body butter and all the concoction. Although they are denying it, the company. Apparently it's attracting spiders.
What?
You put it on and spiders come out of your walls and attack you. Or actually, they don't attack you. They try to mate with you. That's right. This body butter is causing, allegedly, the company is denying it, but it causes wolf spiders to want to mate with you.
When we moved to Florida, when we moved in that house, we had the biggest wolf spider. Jennifer is cringing right now in the other room. We had the biggest wolf spider on our wall. It was the size of my hand. It was enormous.
Well, you could have one mating with your hand if you.
Okay, there's 2 places you don't want to use this body butter: Florida and Australia. 2 places.
Or anywhere. Apparently, there's some ingredient. Now, again, like I said, this company is like, this is not true. They've had spider experts come on and say it's not true. But there's people that are tweeting like pictures of the spider and their bite after they use the cream.
So which one is this again? We make sure we don't buy it.
It is called Sol de Janeiro's Delicia Drench Body Butter.
Let's face it, nobody in our audience is buying $45 for a little jar of body butter anyway.
True.
So
we wish we could.
You're not losing a lot of business with us doing this story.
That's fine.
By the way, passion flower oil has come up before on this show.
Why?
Dr. Wendy brings it up when she talks about her concoctions and stuff with Chinese medicine.
Well, tell her not to rub it on her bum because she'll come up and have a spider biter in the middle of the night.
It's used for anxiety and insomnia. You should use it.
I'm fine.
Who cares about the spiders?
I'm fine.
You'll sleep fine with spiders crawling all over you. Oh, sorry, I had to do this.
Come on,
forgot.
forget your job.
Raking these bumper. There we go.
We're going to head to Florida, Glenn.
Yeah, big surprise.
Florida man.
You were feeling left out. That's why you came down.
I know. Polk County, Florida. So there's a man who is facing charges after he walked in to an unlocked apartment. So he didn't like buzz down a door or anything, but he...
so it's not breaking and entering, it's just entering.
November 23rd, around 5:30 in the morning, this gentleman, his name is Toby Foster, made his way into an apartment. It was an unlocked door, Glenn. And he had to have some of the items that he took with him to include just two things. He took their vodka and their orange juice and left.
He had a mission. He had a plan.
It says the press release says, that's right, this burglar stole the ingredients to make a screwdriver and left. Apparently, he did try to break into other apartments, probably for grenadine, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, to get all the things, the theft value was just over $35. That's a really expensive bottle of Svedka, actually.
That's funny, actually.
Only in Florida, baby.
Only in Florida. Oh, I got to hit the button again.
I mean, some people love going into Goodwills. I like going into Goodwills and just seeing what tchotchkes are on the shelf, and I'm going to start doing it more. I am going to make an appointment of going into all the Goodwills that I can find and just seeing what's in there, because there was a lady and she went into a Goodwill and she saw this vase. And I'm going to show you a picture of it because it looks like a bottle that somebody just painted. But apparently it's this beautiful vase with like these colors swirling through it. And she paid $3.99. She got home. She's like, she kind of likes doing this kind of thing. So she's up to date with like all the places to go look. And so she starts looking at the value. And people start coming to see it. And they start making offers to buy this $3.99 vase, but she decides to hold out.
It's probably god awful ugly too.
It's like
expensive vases are
I don't
always
think
ugly.
I'd pay $3.99 for it, but I will from now on because she ran it through an auction and she made $110,000 on this vase. On a vase.
Did she know it ahead of time?
She kind of like does this. She thrifts and to see if there's anything valuable, but she's like, I'm going to get heat in my house now. So it's not like she's a billionaire doing this. She's like, this is life-changing money and congratulations.
Well, good for her.
Yeah, right?
Was that in Florida?
No, that was in Virginia.
No, it's a good news story. It wouldn't be in Florida.
Next one is.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, Florida. What is wrong with you? Hillsborough County, where's that?
No idea.
Okay, well, there's a Hillsborough County woman, and she is filing a class action lawsuit against Hershey.
Oh, I saw this one.
Oh my gosh. She says it's false advertising, and she wouldn't have bought your products. How much is she suing him for? $5 million. She wants $5 million from the Hershey's company because she bought some Reese's and she thinks they were sold based on false and deceptive advertising. And she's talking about Reese's peanut butter pumpkins, the white pumpkins, pumpkin pieces, peanut butter ghosts, peanut butter bats, peanut butter footballs. They have written down in this news story, peanut butt footballs. That's funny. And then snowmen. But what she's really mad about, she's 18, by the way.
Oh, really? I was picturing 40 for some reason.
My age. Like, we're going to make some money. So, Cynthia Kelly bought some Reese's peanut butter cup pumpkins in October, and the package shows a cute looking, on the outside that shows the chocolate pumpkin, and it shows a cute looking carving of the pumpkin's mouth.
Kind of like a smiley
eyes,
face.
Like a
almost.
smiley face.
Yeah.
Well, she opens it up, and it doesn't have a smiley face carved in it, Glenn. She is upset and she wants to get paid. Her lawyer says Kelly would not have purchased the Reese's Peanut Butter Pumpkins product if she knew that it did not have the detailed carvings of the mouth and eyes pictured on the product label, the lawsuit reads. It also points out that other Reese's candies have lacked the carvings featured on their packaging. And other customers are noticing it as well. But I mean, YouTube, I guess people have been going on YouTube being like, look, I don't have it. Well, she did something about it, Glenn. She is suing for $5 million for them being deceptive and misleading. And where does she live? Florida.
I hope that the judge throws this one out.
How can you even...
You get your price of your product back, but I
want a refund. Okay, here's your $1.50.
We've all gotten these. The letters in the mail that you bought something was part of a class action suit and then they won and now you get your payout. The last one I got, I even forget which product it was. But the last one I would have gotten like 49 cents out of the $5 bazillion that they
won. Oh my gosh.
Like,
I've never...
That's where the lawyers get to keep it all because nobody applies for the 49 cents.
I just got a lawsuit thing in the mail and basically it was like 20 pages and all Chad and I are doing, like, what do we have to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you want to be involved in this and you would not like to do anything and just wait for your check, then just do nothing. I was like, I picked that one.
And usually it's involving a car for something that happened with a car.
I think this was an insurance thing.
Yeah.
Like State Farm. I'm like, okay, you know what? Cool. I'll just
You'll get your dollar.
Check. I'll just wait for my check that's coming.
You'll get your dollar. We got right before we went on vacation, I get a letter from the IRS, and those are always fun. But this looked like a check, and I was like, well, I was expecting a check. And it was a refund from like 2 or 3 years ago. And usually when you get those, it's also $12. No, it's a check, but we've gotten them in the past, but it's usually $5 or $10 you've overpaid or whatever. This was for almost $900.
What?
And I was like, I hate. You're almost afraid to cash it because they're going to come back and say, we screwed up. We want our $900 back.
We want you to pay taxes on that.
But we cashed our check right before vacation. So that
you're buying lunch today, my friend.
All right. Yeah, IRS is buying lunch today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Sorry that Dr. Kristi couldn't make it here today. Hang on, everybody. We're going to hang out with the auditors for a couple minutes and get caught up, and then we're heading out. We're going to go see Scooter and Nigel, and then Jamie's going to get her first visit to the World Equestrian Center, and she's ready to be awed. It better be as impressive as I say, or she's going to be really pissed at me. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back here tomorrow. Hopefully, Jennifer and Mary will be here, and then Friday, we'll be back with another Horses in the Morning. It's our first really bad ads for 2024. Yes, you can screw that up for the next 2 months.
All right, everybody. Spay, neuter, geld.